Stability and safety into getting a restart.
What's up, every fucker? Let's see, let's get this turned a little bit this way, huh? So, yeah, I got a lot of work to do today. Oh, I got 8 tunnels. We got 6 differentials, well, 8 if you put everybody's, and then we got full shock rebuild on this rig. We are in for a wild time. Yeah, it's just, that's what happens, man. You run these things like we do, and you got a lot of maintenance to do. It's just the way it is. If you don't maintain it, then you're going to rip stuff up that you shouldn't be ripping up, because problems breed problems. If you have a problem with the car, like it's making a noise or it's doing something weird and you just let it go, it's going to cause more issues. You're not going to have to replace 1 part or 2 parts. You're going to have to replace 7 or 8 because you let it go. So that is up to you. I don't mind working on stuff because, well, I love it. I wouldn't do it if I didn't love it because it sucks. I do it all day. I do it all night. I do it for a living on full-size vehicles. So, that's on you. You maintain your truck or not, whatever. So like I said, we're going to be doing a full shock rebuild on this one. So, plus diffs later. So I'm just pulling the freaking wing off now. And yes, those are 3mm screws in the wing. I put 3mm screws in wherever I can. Just started doing them on front mud guards. I always adjust it. Battery boxes. Body mounts. We 3mm a lot of stuff. So if you want the mass strength, you got 3mm. Oh, that's broken almost clean off. Jesus. Yeah, I need a longer bolt for that. But that's not what we're here for right at the moment. No, this is where it gets nasty. Is against the rules. Here we go again. Pick your restart mode. Verstappen spins round from second position. And loses a handful of places. Verstappen had to take a point in action. That's not good. That's bent hinge pin in there. The fun thing about those brass inserts is that they work great for keeping the pins from bending, but when they do bend, it's a little more difficult to get them out of there. Oof, yeah, let me see. Clamp down again. These are all MQC shock standoffs, the old style ones. I like to get a big set of the monsters, but it's cost money. Not that their product should be free. Excellent product, but I just upgrade a little bit when I can. Here we go. Snug side of come loose again. Alright, so might be something better in there. It kind of feels like steering. Ooh. No, I tore open the B block. The B block is ripped clean open. Tore a big hole in it. I'll be able to show you later. Mike, what up, buddy? Yeah, sorry, dude. I don't know if you noticed the title. We're going long term. I've already got 8 differentials to rebuild, 4 shocks, and as you know, every time you touch something, you find 5 more problems. I already found my B block is ripped clean open, dude. Like it ripped the plastic one with the bolts on the backside. It ripped right through it. Mind your own bastards. Hey, man, we're actually here this time, at least for a minute. Got a long-term thing to do. I got 8 differentials to rebuild. Alan's coming down. Nick's here, but he's in the house jerking off or something. Just taking my shocks off to rebuild. I already noticed I ripped my hinge pin clean out of my B block. The plastic one with the bolts that go in the back. Yeah, that's the one I prefer because it's the only one that has the holes for the bolts in the back. If you've got holes for bolts, you should have bolts there. That's the way I feel. Anyway, so yeah, we got tons of shit to do. I might just rip the dips out of this too right now so I can actually have them. No, because I got to shim them. Yeah, that's going to be a separate operation. Well, front end's got to come off anyway, so because we got that busted block, might as well take that off. Anybody agree? Disagree? Yeah, whatever. Mike, I don't know if you noticed I erased a bunch of the old the test live cast. One got copyrighted, obviously. I don't know. I'm thinking about actually asking some of these bands for permission to play their music while I do my shows. I mean, I don't know. If you're not listening to anything 120 beats per minute or less, it just doesn't energize you. But yeah, I don't know if anybody out there is a Formula One fan, but the race today was nuts. My Canadian RC 96 bumper spring, best ones in the business. Haven't even cracked it yet. I've ripped control arm pins straight out of a B block, but I didn't break my Canadian RC bumper spring because they don't break. That's what I'm talking about. It's a good product right there. Yeah, not a bad idea, right? I mean, to some people, it's copyright. To some people, it's advertisement. It just depends on who you're talking to, really. I need to enlarge the holes. That's another fix that I've forgotten about is drilling the holes in the bottom of the bumper so you could actually get to your bulkhead screws to tighten them up on occasion between bashes. Yeah, that's not bent. Oh, boy. This thing's coming out gnarly. Come on, you. Oh, yeah, it's already stripped. Well, there's still one back here. I hope I have all the parts I need to do all these jobs I'm about to do, because if not, I'm going to have a lot of cars in boxes. I hate chicken messed up. I've got another one. Yeah, it's at it. Oh, it comes with a bumper spring. Look at that. Need that shit. Garbage. Oh, it comes with an A-block cover. Need that shit. All right. More garbage. Come on. All right.
We can see it loose. We can see how hard you're working out there, but the asphalt will not like receiving that video message. It's going to cost him so bad.
All right, and I'm going to have to disconnect the steering. It's
become a big moment because Max has spun 5 seconds later. Hit the brakes, tried to make the gap. Max has gone through. Not tactics similar to what happened in Canada, and it was thrown out. I
don't know, just trying to do something. I mean, nobody's talking, so I get bored. What do you want? That's that ADHD kicking in. Woo. You know what's better than ADHD? The medication for it. Nothing like a little Adderall in your system. Yeah, it's going to be a real long day if I don't actually start using the drill. Where are all my bits? Yeah. Don't know where in the hell those are. Found last night. That'll work.
To control the pace as the race he defines when you go back to racing. They did publish guidelines a couple of weeks ago.
Another fucking spinner. I didn't think that thing had any more threads left in it, but I guess it does. Oh, that's right. I put an extended bolt in there. Alright, fine. Get out of there. Thank you for cooperating. Alright, so there is the front end. Always a good idea to check all your steering stuff while you're in here, because you never know when one of these bolts, like mid-center steering bolt's going to come loose. Depending on how anal retentive you are. Oh god, I got to change the pins in this one. Woo! Those are flat. I mean, like, yeah, real flat. Flat. Yeah, I need to either change that drive shaft completely or change both the pins in it. And if pins being changed sounds like a daunting task, trust me. And when you buy this nifty little tool from Walmart, it's a bicycle chain breaker. It costs $9. It's awesome for changing out pins. You can pop them out, no problem. I definitely need to probably change the bearings out of the steering if I have anyone. If I have a set ready to go, I might not. I haven't recycled bearings in a while. I've got at least 100 sitting waiting to be dipped and flipped, so to speak. So we're done with this guy for a little while. And we got our front end assembly and our shocks. So the object was to start with the shocks. We're going to start with the shocks. Somewhat organized. Somewhat. I really need a new set of top bushings in these too. This needs to go. I got one of those hot racing aluminum shock ends on there because I didn't have some at one point. And either one, and that's all I had stock. Springs are 10.5 or 12 pounds. Yeah, 12 pound Century Springs from Century Spring Company. They don't make Rc Car parts. They make springs. And they make good ones. I have part numbers. If you need them, let me know. You can also get them from the guy who found them in the first place, the guy who did the footwork for all of us, the research, and that would be at East Tactics on YouTube. Shout out. I've actually learned a lot from that dude because I came back into this hobby 8 years out, and shit had changed a lot. And he helped me get some information I didn't have on hand or know by heart. So, good dude. Good chat. All right. So we need a new end for that one. None of these pulled off last night. They must be okay, but it doesn't matter. We're changing all the shock ends anyway. We got all new bits. Actually, no, we're changing the shock rods. Got all new rods. Hopefully, they're all the right length because I kind of eyeballed them. New shock ends wouldn't hurt for reliability's sake. Got new inserts, plastics that go in the seal pack. We got new seals. We got new oil. It's a full shock rebuild. This is how you do it. These are probably, if they weren't bent at some point, the original shock rods that came with the truck. This truck's 3 years old, so that's telling something. But I'm sure at least 2 or 3 have been changed. But at some point, they're all a little bent. Why not change them out? Absolutely shocking. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Kind of like Nick's behavior. Speaking of which, where is that freaking monkey? I love the guy, but man, he makes it hard. I asked him to bring a table in here, and the first thing he does is knock over my Cape Cod cranberry and vodka. Really? That's the lesbian for air compressor. Oh, please don't take offense, anybody who happens to be part of the LGBTQ community. I don't mean any offense. I'm just having a good time. I have a fairy godfather who I love very much, and I have no problem with who you want to sleep with or who you want to love for the rest of your life. As long as you don't force it on other people, everything's just fine with me. Or over advertised. Okay, now we get the joy of removing 4 shocks worth of oil. And I could use the smoke. Give me 10 seconds. Oh. Shit. Hey, buddy. Oh, hey, Mike. I ran the GT into a pond yesterday. Well, into a ditch full of water. It hasn't started since, but I think I burned a glow plug out, so it's no big deal because I'm out of glow plugs. And they weren't the right ones anyway. Should brought home some brake cleaner. Well, actually, it doesn't look that bad. It's not that old. We're gonna use this shit. What do I got for shock now? That's used. Nah, that's a Lucas mix. That's 100 weight. I don't want to mix up fresh 100 weight. Yeah, not a lot in there. We'll put it there.
It's interesting, we haven't rained for quite some time. The track isn't drying up anywhere near as quickly as it was earlier.
Nah, not that spot. That's done. Sounds like what's her name?
No one has to pit for the race. They will pit if these intermediates start falling away, whether we get to a slip time or not.
Oh. Apparently, I just rebuilt the rears. Or at least changed the oil. I think I was running 140 in the rears before. Yeah, that's good. Alright. Paper towels going in. To Wellington Straits, as you can see, hanging on the LB to the same sequence of corners. I think Hulkenberg is going to be released. And Hulkenberg is strong push results the last few weekends. He's doing a great job. Smell the opportunity. What do you do with old chocolate? If it's recently replaced, I'll put it in my smallest or lowest level shock oil bottle. Like if it's almost empty, I'll reuse it. If it's still the same color, if it's gray, just ship it. Put it in file 13.
This car's been quick in race trip. Hulkenberg's made the
Come
points
here.
on a few points recently. He made the points at the back of the grid last time out. He started 19th. He was at the back of the grid again this time out. I don't think he thought it was a podium chance when he jumped out of the car. It's so chill on the grid earlier. Experience, confidence, and just thinking, I've got nothing to lose today. A few things going on right now. We're focusing on Hulkenberg because he's never scored a career podium. 238 races in Formula One. Out front, even with that 10-second time penalty for Oscar Piastri, that gap has come down from 4 seconds to 2.6 at the front. Lando Norris trying to win the British Grand Prix for the first time in his career. Start number 239. 238 races. Track is starting to dry now. Temps are coming up on the track. That should.
All right. So let's get everything disassembled.
Incredible battle with the podium we've got. With Lance Stroll having started in 17th position, and Nico Hulkenberg having started 19th.
Normally you want to really wash everything on a brake cleaner or something like that, but I don't have it on hand, so I'm just going to get all the dirt off everything and get all straightened out. In my situation, I need to find my spare seals because I have extra seals in these that don't belong there. Because I add an extra O-ring to every shock in order to pack up the seal pack, tighten it up a little bit. So that's not factory. That's not factory. Apparently I didn't do any in the last one. Unless I missed it up in there. Might still be in there. Some of these are new too, these O-rings. I'm going to go with the brighter ones. So I had to replace seals on one of these not long ago. Oh, no, that's split. That's split. No. So I have multiple seals.
To the balance, well out front. The pedestrians, all eyes on this battle. Very measured for Piastri. We didn't respond to the second notice that he had.
Some of these can be used for extras. Not for seals, but for spacers. Squishable spacers. Right, so yeah, that's got some scars in it, but they get old. Hopefully, I have all the right shock shafts because I really don't think I do. I think I might have something off. Like I said, I eyeballed them. I didn't even check part numbers. Then we got seals. We only got seals for 2 shocks. Shit. Caps. Spacers. And this is, I guess, the new V6 spacers. So there's part number. And then what I got for shock shafts. Apparently, I bought them correctly. See.
For Hulkenberg, this is to be the day. The time has got to be now.
Now, brand new shock shafts, you should have polish. Normally, I do run some emery cloth or Scotch Brite, on them to make them super shiny and not screwed up, ready to go. But with new ones, it shouldn't be necessary. Remember with these shocks, the washer underneath the piston is a specialized washer. It's got a very small hole that is perfectly set to go onto this shaft and go onto the little collar part there, but not slide down the rest of it. You know what I mean? Like, no, wait. Okay, that side. Come here. Right, so that is got a collar on it. So you need that particular washer in order to go onto the shaft and not go too far down it and screw up your setup there. Let me get some of these parts out of here. I don't need. Where did it go? Oh, there's that afterwards. So in this case, it just stuck right to the piston, so I'm just going to stick it right back on. Being that the piston is going in the right direction. This is a front. I just replaced all these O-rings on these shock pistons not long ago, so they should be just fine. These are M2C pistons and M2C caps. M2C is a motion kit. It's good stuff. Right, so there's that one. On the front. Siding his way through, the Aston Martin falls from third to fifth in a matter of corners. Formula One race is on in the background. It's a good race, real good race. Mixed conditions, wet and dry. It's always fun. Watch them try to scramble for intermediate tires or slick tires, rain tires, etc. One of the few motorsports that does race in the rain. Not like NASCAR where they call it because it's wet out there. We don't want to hit you. Shut up. Idiots like that'll jump on a bull for 8 seconds, but they won't fucking race in the rain. Oh, you tell me, man. Yeah, you know, I'm just gonna chuck all this. That was all the center pieces, the center spacers that go in the seal pack, and the end caps for the seal pack. Just threw them all away. We got new ones. 36 of 52. The track beginning to dry. The Silverstone circuit, the strategic element of this race is not yet. If you do manage to mix these washers up, the one with the smaller hole goes in the bottom. And the one on top is actually much larger overall diameter. How's the audio level? Mike, do you actually understand me with a cigarette in my mouth? Buddy used to tell me I was the only person that could drink a beer, smoke a cigarette, think, and work on a car at the same time. He might be right. All right, well, maybe you didn't hear that. Let me know when you're back. All right. And last one. So those shock shafts, if they prove to not be bent, will be saved. Their soul will be saved, my brother. Right, and if you have M2C pistons, remember the side with the extra holes goes down, and the white one's going. The white one's going front, black one's going back. So, in case you buy a car used that's got M2C stuff in it and you don't know how they work, I mean, you can look it up on the website, sure, but you can just listen to this, and that's how it works. To make his way to third position. All right, so we got new rods, new shafts. There you go. All right. So like I said, we don't have enough seals to do 2 shocks. So I think I'm going to mix them up. I'm going to do like a new seal on every shock. Because I believe that's the only package we have, unless we do have another one. Nope. Nope. It's all the things of fresh stuff I see in here. What is this? Yeah. Well, all right. So, where's the? Out. Come on, really? Getting my ass kicked by a fucking O-ring. That's funny.
So you got to say Hamilton is the quicker of the two right now.
I'll stick with the pack of the oil. Alright, so there's 41s. There are other parts.
The driver who for his career was over, brought back to the Haas team, and then transferred to what will become Audi. Hamilton finds himself within that 1 second window. He will get DRS around this circuit on 2 occasions.
There we go.
Just a risk taker there. I can see looking closely at the screen for those little dry patches. Julian sensing a bit of slick tires.
These are a smaller middle spacer than the old ones. I can tell you that. So this definitely lends itself to having a three O-ring pack. Just due to the fact that it doesn't have the extra seal. It's kind of weird, but that's the new style apparently. So try to clean these up a little bit real quick. I have to put threads on them.
We're still looking. Well, that is interesting for Mercedes. They don't think the track is in the right conditions. But it's an interesting one when a two-time world champion disagrees. Yeah, and what he's doing right now is basically, as we said.
Now, whenever you have your shock bodies apart, take a look inside them and look at the wall of the cylinder and check for wear, because these will wear actually, and you'll notice the anodizing, the red part will be worn off and will be worn down to aluminum on the inside. If that is the case, you should replace them, or you can keep them, because if you think about it, if you've got a little bit more clearance on your piston just in the middle where the shock usually moves, just standard hitting bumps and stuff, not jumps or anything crazy, then that actually will loosen up your damping in the middle of the shock, and then increase it as the wall gets thicker, as the wear is not at the top or the bottom, which is kind of interesting, because what is that? Over here? A lot of people try to actually get that out of shocks, to have shocks that have less damping in the middle and more damping on the ends of the stroke, which is a complicated thing to do. You have to have different size holes in the pistons, and rely on cavitation and all kinds of weird stuff. But so anyway, all the shock shafts are put in, ready to go. I need to do our shim packs. I'm not one to buy like goo just for sticking O-rings on shafts. I don't think that's necessary. Whatever the lubricant is that works with it on a regular basis is the one you should use. So there we go. Factory O-ring, extra O-ring, and then our spacer, and then another O-ring. So you can use 3 factory seals in this thing apparently with this pack. And then we need our bottom holder. I see what the bottom holder is, the one that sticks it real up in there. Okay, it's got a new, like the old one was flatter, so I see how they're doing it now. The new holder on the bottom has got a big lip on it, so it actually pushes it up in the shaft a lot, or in the hole a lot better. That's not terrible. All right, so that's how we're doing it, man. Factory O-ring, hopefully decent factory O-ring. Spacer O-ring, and bottom collar. There we go.
But at the end of the day, if there's a contact, then you didn't force him off the road. That's called spinning. George Russell on the slick tire goes round at huge speed, and he's got away with that one. Going through maggots and peckets, he makes his way to the hanger straight somehow.
Yeah, these new shims really bottom out. I highly suggest them. So that is the part to buy when you're doing your shocks. Holy crap. You can only hear you'd have volume on my old phone. I'd say that's good. So this is too much. Sorry, thought I'd try it. Is that loud as shit? Yeah, I think it's noisy. It definitely picks it up.
And then release the brakes and straighten up at the perfect point to just cut through Megan's
All right,
and get back on.
so
It's quite incredible. And Toto Wolff will be thinking,
go. We got the last guy in there.
it's just got worse.
Hmm. I do like that pack on there. That feels good. I wish I had bought a lot more O-rings. Actually, I wish I knew where to get these things so I could buy them by the hundreds and just not have to worry about it, because $5 for 4 is kind of stupid. It's a damn silicone O-ring. They're a dime a dozen, especially in my world. Automotive. Yeah, I should have another O-ring put on here, but I don't. So hopefully this one doesn't fucking leak. I honestly don't have any problems with arrma shocks leaking in the bottom. I've rarely seen it. They always leak in the top. Because there's only one seal at the top. He has 3 down there. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I've got all our shock bodies with our seals assembled, with our pistons and rods. So now we need ends, and I need to get shock parts. I'm tired already, god damn. It's been a long fucking day. Nope, not right now. Where are they? No. Okay. Well, apparently I don't have new ends right now, so like I said, I do need at least one. Oh, I know where they are. They're in the damn go box. Give me a second. Ow. Hey, Brian.
They're absolutely safe in 1 and 2. Hamilton's going to pull the trigger. Hamilton couldn't get past Holberg on the intermediate tyres, but Hamilton is about to put those out front on big pressure. He believes the time is right for slicks. It still feels that it's a little bit early. He's gone with the softs, which gives an advantage. Russell had gone with those hards and he paid the price. The softs give him the best chance now. This is Lewis Hamilton searching for another Silverstone podium. Needs to get them fired up, but plenty of others have come in as well, so it seems like everyone thinks this is the right time. This is the moment. It's not a quick stop for Max Verstappen. It's having a tough day at Red Bull. Stroll, Verstappen, Gasly, and Sainz were in. Hamilton went to the soft tyres. Continuing on, Charles Leclerc, Alex Albon are 5th and 6th now. 7th for Ocon as well. Plenty coming in for the slick tyres. So, what sort of grip does he go?
All right, go box.
Is his teammate? Not a lot right now. Losing grip. Quite obviously, he took those.
I guess I already used all the new shotguns. All right. So I need a ball in too, right? Because that thing's just shit aluminum. Actually, that needs to go in this box. And then there we go. 1 new one. Put the ball in. Yeah, that's a shotgun.
So does Hulkenberg pick now to cover that butt job? Put on slicks. What's the track position? To go through that pain as well. He does. Hulkenberg picks, and this is huge for Sauber. This is a massive moment for Sauber and the career of Nico Hulkenberg. Start 239 in Formula 1. No one has ever waited longer for a four-on podium. It didn't look the quickest stop.
And there we go. We got it. So that's it. So now we put the shotguns on, and then we can fill them up. Unless you need to put spacers or bump stops to the bottom of your shocks. In fact, you know what? I think I'm going to do that. So, you know what? Just at least a little bit. Take all these old O-rings here. I got 4 of them, so I'll put one on each, every shock rod. And that'll give you a little bit of a bit of compression resistance when you hit the bottom of the stroke and the piston's about to smash itself in the top of the crown and just blow itself to pieces. Instead, it might actually just hit this over and give a little squishy. Or if you have a vehicle that, bottoms out too much. Actually, technically in bashers, what you really should do is put fuel line on all your shock rods and have it be the length to where right before your chassis hits the ground, it hits the fuel line. And that way you'll have a nice little damper kind of jout stop, bump stop, if you will, to keep your chassis from slapping stupid hard. Oh, Mike, if you're listening, say something. Good. I'm glad it was loud. That means I proved something. Is it back to normal now? Because I just kind of turned it. I didn't mark it. Okay, cool, buddy. Listen, next product. We need this. Engine braces, motor braces. We need motor anti-slap into chassis doodads. Like M2C makes one. It's just a little, flat thing with a curve for the motor. 8S, 6S. Yeah. That's your, I can't really use it because I'm running big ass heat sinks on everything, but Nick was asking about it for the 8S. And then also, Alan was asking about it. So there you go, man. Next product. And put your name in the bottom of them, like everybody else does. Like, so you just see it out the back. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, that needs to be available to the public. All right, so when shocks are on, very, very important. Make sure your shocks are exactly the same damn length. Hold a hole, top to top. You can measure it if you want. I'm pretty good at eyeballing shit. This is kind of what I do. Make sure they're the exact same length. Because that's kind of the same effect on your car as having the wrong droop settings. And that will throw your shit all over the place. Trust me, having your suspension down stop and up stop is super important because it'll, if you go to do a wheelie and one wheel in the front comes off the ground before the other one, depending on what kind of fluid you got in the front diff, that bitch could just go whoop. So it's important. Droop is highly important. We will be showing some of that later because we have to rebuild diffs. If I had to take the front end off the car, you got to do the droop. Anytime you rebuild, when you remove the bulkhead from the chassis, the droop needs to be reset. And you should not put the shocks on until the bulkhead's bolted down, or take them off before, or take them off after it's unbolted. Always take the shocks off before you unbolt the bulkhead. Always put the shocks on after you put the bulkhead on the chassis. Because you should have a little bit of tension, just a tiny, tiny bit, on your suspension at rest, even in the air. You don't want that slop in there because that millimeter of play, anywhere it can be, makes more of a smashing motion instead of a compression motion of the shock absorbing the hit. And it'll just smash as you go over bumps, and you'll end up wearing out your bushings faster and all that kind of shit. So there you go on that one. All right, so we need something to put these into film, which that ought to work. One of Nick's stock tires. I actually have holes drilled in the end of this bench for this, but it's off camera. Right. So all the pistons are all the way at the bottom. I'm feeling about 75% full, maybe 80. Whoa, too much. So no, I need to be getting some from the other jugs here. It's so cool, isn't it? Well, he's heading to an 8th career victory, but the one that would mean the most. By the way, fastest driver on track, having his day of days, Nico Hulkenberg in P3. What a result he is getting closer to. But he actually shows you. Yeah, it's not even enough to bleed it. Leave that upside down, so hopefully we get some more in it. It's mixture. Yeah, it's like 140, 100 mix, like, I don't know, 110 weight, I guess. Whatever. Well, it's not too much. But those levels will go down really quick once you move the piston. Okay. Oh, come on. All the way up. All the way back down. All the way up. All the way back down. There's no way there's no bubbles in that thing. Right. There we go. There's some bubbles. And then you just want to run them through the stroke a couple times, get all the bubbles out from underneath the piston or inside the piston if you have pistons like these. There we go. I'm just going to let those sit for a minute. Like this one's got a lot of air in it. It's popping out. Some might have bubbles that are still coming up. But you just let it sit for a second. And hopefully this will have enough to do the top off. That way you'll be using more of that. You just need to go back into the shock parts for reuse if necessary. And I need to see if I have a center drive shaft for that one that's all completely configured. Now on, huh? Oh, 7 points away. Oh, that might be it. Yep, that's it. Oh, that's a little flat, but a lot better than that one. That's too short. That's an axle shaft anyway. You can always tell the axle shaft because it's uncircumcised. Or no, it is circumcised. It's very bulbous on the end. That's how you tell rear drive shafts, obviously. All right, so I've got 4 of these things altogether. So we'll pick out the best one. Holy monkey. These are all pretty foolhardy. That one's not terrible. Shit, man. I might just take the best out of these, take the best pins and swap them. Boy, man. This is probably the best one, but I do need to get another one. Also, if you want to be real stingy, you can take the pins out, turn them 90 degrees, and put them back in so you can wear the other side. But, I mean, at your own risk. I have snapped pins and drive shafts before. I mean, in the center drive shafts, which is kind of rare. Yeah, and I see. Now we're finally getting air out of the other ones, too. We got little tiny bubbles coming up. Little Don Ho music going on. So, we'll just go ahead and pop those up anyway. With emulsion shocks, you want it to be a little over the top. You want to fill it up to where there's just a little bit of a convex over the top of it. Just a little bit of a dome. And then, you take all your caps, take all the screws out of them. Put them back on. Where the fuck is Nick? Kind of a pain in the ass. I'm using my phone for my second camera. I can't call him. I'll have to go in the house and yell at him like a fucking homeowner or some shit. Alright, so let's grab this little guy here. Give him a little love. Get that cap on there. I usually tighten these while holding the bottom because that way you give the same amount of tension on both. So we want to go about 3/4 up. Or preferably till you get fluid out of it. And we didn't have fluid coming out of this one. So we need to top this one off some more. It's kind of messy, but you can actually get fluid in that little baby hole and pull the piston out at the same time. Just suck in more fluid. And then, hopefully, still not. Okay.
It's almost anyone's day. Racing Bulls, both cars out with damage. They've had the bigger
All
hold.
right, that should do it.
They're not as things stand.
And then bubble, 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 fluid right there. That one's all the way up, so make sure the other one's the same height when you actually put the screw in it. Usually you want to be about 90% shaft when you get that point where you got just straight fluid coming out of it. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work out that way. It's always a thing. But that's the joy of making perfect shocks. That is pretty full. It's got a nice dome on the top of it. That should work.
2025 for Lando Norris on the left-hand side. Oliver Behrman fighting. He is under investigation for any publishing. Hamilton took a second at a Hulkenberg.
Shaft up and
it looks like Nico.
damn it.
Fingers
All right.
crossed for him. Is going to get that elusive podium. Every Hulkenberg fan rolled their eyes and said it was done there. Every single one. But you're right, DC. He too.
Bubble, fluid. Right at the bottom, just like the other one. Okay, so now we're matched up at least. You want to have your shocks per axle the same amount of how high you put them up before you capped it off, because you don't want any back pressure on one side and not the other, because that will give you uneven handling. And obviously that is not what we're looking for. I'm going to try this real quick. I'm going to put some oil in the cap, take up some of that space. Maybe that'll help me achieve what I'm trying to achieve. On, and then let's see here. So now, bubble, fluid already. Look at that. Okay, so that's what you got to do. You got to take up the room in the cap with a little bit of fluid. That's how you get to where you need to be. So we're about 80% up the stroke. If I can get this screw to cooperate. Oh, damn you. I'm talking about. You're a bastard. Evil screw. Evil screw. All right, now you're pissing me off. You son of a bitch. Take a pick, clean all the dirt out of it. Oh, you can sit on the damn wrench. Alright, so there we go. Alright, and this is the rears too, because that's all I have left. So this is actually going to be beneficial, because the rears always tend to bottom out faster. So you got about 90% of the shock stroke, then it gets creates that little pressure, right? So that's okay. Just a little bit at the bottom of the stroke. It is going to put more pressure on your seals. It is going to probably cause leaks on top, but it'll only leak until the pressure goes away. So not a big deal. And then you know your shocks are perfectly filled and even, because if you have your car set up right, they both bottom out at the same time. Right. A little bit of oil in the cap. Makes a mess, but gets it done. So, let's see. Bubble. Oh, no, we got fluid already. So, we go all the way up to 80, like the other one. Making a big ass mess. And there we go. This is the last one. Now, let me check the balance between both of them. So, bam. Nope. Okay, we got more pressure in this one, so this one's got to be bled a little more. Don't even have to take a screw out, just loosen up a little bit. So now, same length. We're good. All right. So that is a perfectly built set of balanced dampers. I'd be willing to say, put me up against a professional electric on-road racer or off-road racer building shocks like that. for what these need to do, I'd be on par. And remember, tighten your caps both sides at the same time. That way you get the same amount of torque on both of them. Not tighten them with pliers. Yeah, if you loosen with pliers, you got other issues, like a lot of dirt intrusion. Shock should be rebuilt roughly about every 6 batteries. If you want maximum performance, if you really don't care, maybe every 10. But you'll notice when they start going shit, like this thing was slapping super hard last night. I haven't put a video up yet of my truck running, but I have of Alan's and Nick's 8S. Did some spectacular shit. I should probably see what. Apologies in advance. The picture I'm about to send. Well, unfortunately, my phone is being used as a camera. Rc and more. What is up, my friend? Welcome to the channel. This is, like it says in the description, an all-day RC repair extravaganza. I've got 2 of the other 941 bashers coming in. Nick, my roommate, and Alan, the talent. The kid. Just rebuilt the shocks for my big trucks, my Creighton. So that's that. I can put those back together and be done with it. Now I've got 8 differentials to rebuild. Well, I've got 6 myself. Alan's got 2. So let's see how that goes. I'm sure I'll be helping him with his as well because he is new to the sport or hobby, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of experience working on these things, especially with all the modifications that I've made to them to make them better. There we go. Yeah, make sure you got the right ends on these things too, because they make different ones that fit. There's like 2, 3 different ones from arrma. And like I said, these are Century 12.5-pound springs. I did cut about 3/4 inch off the front because they don't come in different lengths because it's not an RC car place. It's a fucking spring place. And these weren't pre-ground on the ends. I had to flatten them myself because they were $10 cheaper to buy that particular part number. However, they are zinc coated, so they will last forever. So, yeah, 12.5-pound per inch springs all the way around on my crate. A little heavy, but you know what? I jumped it off a parking garage. So I mean, that is my send it truck when I want to send it. I mean, it goes a lot faster than the other one. All right, so those shocks are ready to go, ready to be put back in the car. That is the drive shaft I'm going to use, even though it's not great. New shock caps, just because the other ones are almost worn through on various bashing events. Being upside down, whatever you call it. Wearing through bodies. Okay, so now differential time. So starting out on a diff, you want to check your free play. So we got, yeah, that's too much. That is way too much. So then we're going to check our ring gear. So let's roll it around. And we're going to look for flat spots, parts where the teeth are like missing possibly, or the teeth are worn down. There's 2 types of failures on these ring gears. You can destroy 5 ring gears. There it is, flat spot. You can destroy 5 ring gears with the same pinion, and that pinion will still be usable. Pinions don't have flat spots. Pinions don't have missing teeth. Pinions don't get messed up. Ring gears get messed up. I don't know why, that's just the way it goes. So if I can reach over here and get these. These are 2 examples of what you're going to do. If you look at this one, you can see there's different parts that are worn and not worn. Okay. This is an example of bolt failure. So the bolt has backed out of the differential in that particular hole, has gotten loose, and the ring gear is starting to flex and therefore eat the teeth off of that area. This is an example of bearing failure. When the bearing fails, you just eat all the teeth because the pinion has moved over to the side and is no longer contacting the pinion correctly. Those are the 2 types of failures you're going to have on these things. So in this case, it looks like we've got a bolt failure. And we've got a semi-usable ring gear. I do not want to put it back in this truck because of what this truck does. I need something much better than that. So, God, what is it, $27 a piece or some shit now? See what I got in stock. I really do not want to purchase any more gear. God knows what's going to happen. That's the first differential out of 6 I got to do. And the hobby shop's only open so long. All right, so we got a couple in here. This one looks pretty good. Oh yeah, this one looks great. Yep, that's the one going in the front. All right. And let me guess. Yep, all the rest of them are non-EXP. Old school, man. Oh yeah, cases. Alan doesn't have EXP aluminum cases, so I gotta hook him up. So I need 2 cases and 2 ends. Make sure they're EXP ends. He's got a bigger shaft, right? So those are both EXP, I believe. Yeah, that's right. Let's check them by putting an EXP thing in it. Nope, that's not. That is. All right. Well, just throw it on the floor like an idiot. Okay, looks like I'm missing at least. Nope, that one is good. Okay. So there we go. I got 2. 2 EXB aluminum cases for Alan. Good. Okay. Fuck it, you can do that thing right there. Yeah, how are my out drives? I'll see when I take it out. Well, I got some new ones, so I can put those in if need be. If anybody out there wants any LSD plates, by all means, let me know. I got hundreds I'll send you. I don't use them. We tried the LSD thing, and I'll tell you what, it doesn't really work. Unless you run a fairly light fluid, you can get a different viscosity out of moving and not moving, but it's in the lower end of viscosity range, and we don't run there, being bashers. So here's the other problem. We ripped this pin straight out of the C block because I run sleeved control arms. Yeah, I sleeve them with brass. So since we've been doing that, we haven't been bending pins, but we've been breaking blocks. It's just one of the things you got to do along the way to upgrade, to figure out what works and what doesn't, and how to make this thing bulletproof. We're getting close, but we're not there yet. So that block is fried. Definitely need a new one of those. I think I have one. If not, I'm gonna have to go buy one. And the budget for RC cars this month is kind of messed up due to the paint. Probably spent $150 on paint. But I learned a lot. Made some bodies that everybody says are great, but I think they look like shit because I know I can do way better. Where are my blocks? Look at that. We got one. And yes, I run that old school plastic block on my B block because it's the only one that's got the holes for other bolts that go through the chassis. Most of them don't. However, I am trying to learn enough about CAD to make my own blocks because nobody makes blocks for the rear I want. The adjustable ones, they shatter, and the ones that have some of the measurements, not all of the measurements I want, you can't use unless you use through bolts, and I don't want to use through bolts because I don't think that's the way to go. I think that's overbuilding it, and I think that's going to break more shit than or bend more shit than it should. You have to have a sacrificial piece. You have to have something that breaks. Scorched blocks, aluminum bulkheads, clamped arms, hardened pins, strongest to me. I'll break that pin before your arm clamp a scorched block. And that's your way to go, dude. I'm down with that. But does Scorch make blocks for the rear that are 3 degrees of anti-squat and 1 degree of rear toe? No, they don't. Because I've checked everybody. And that is the way I run my truck, and that is the way I like my truck. Both trucks, stunt truck and big truck. So that's what I want. So that's what I'm going to have somebody make me because I'm not going through all that shit, and I prefer to do it that way. And honestly, if anybody with my type of driving style drives one of these trucks with 3 degrees of anti-squat and 1 degree rear toe, they're going to fucking love it. I mean, that's just, I mean, you have to run aluminum bulkheads if you want a bulletproof rear end or front end. That's all there is to it. But, and aluminum blocks I'm down with. But I want anti-squat and I want less toe because these fuckers put in 3 degrees of toe from the factory and it's fucking absurd. Unless you're a really terrible driver and you're driving on like sand, you don't need that. Something going on out there. What are you hearing, Brody? Go get him. Get him, Brody. Go get him, boy. There's Brody going to check. Good dog. Hiding behind the door, curtain, whatever you want to call it. Go get him, Brody. Another modification I do on most of these, in case anybody hasn't seen, countersink on the shock towers. And yes, those are 3 mil bolts in the body mounts. We run 3 mil in the body mounts, in the battery trays, in the mud guards, in the wings, in the bumper springs. Anywhere we can just tap it out and put a 3 mil screw in. If there's enough, material left to hold a bigger screw and still be structurally strong, then we do it. And yes, I have taps for that size shit. My dad had them. It's stuff I found in my dad's stuff after he died. It's like I've got taps of every size you can think of for this car. Every size screw that's in this car, I have taps for. Well, I don't know, apparently he's out there doing something. All right, so this ring gear needs to be replaced, obviously. So we're going to get into that, and we're going to get into how to properly sham a differential. Not the way arrma says to do it, by putting a stupid little piece of tin foil on the outside of it and trying to stick it in your differential and turn it into a pretzel. That doesn't work. That's bullshit. That's not the way we do things. We do things way easier, way better, way stronger. All right, and this diff is obviously getting a little weak. That's definitely not 200,000 anymore. See, our bearings are looking here. Bearings are solid as hell. Yeah, we are leaving that alone. Bearings on the diff are going to be replaced because we take it apart. If we take a diff apart, we change the bearings. Doesn't matter. I don't care if they're brand new. I don't care if they were put in yesterday. Change them out, put them back into recycle. By recycle, I mean I soak my bearings in, used bearings, in gasoline for a week. And then I soak them in Lucas engine honey or oil stabilizer, if you will, for a week. And, I let them dry between. Pull them out of there, that kind of shit. But usually after a week or so, that shit will seep into the bearing and make it all right. And then when I take them out of that stuff, I let them drip dry or whatever you want to call it, because that shit is honey. That's why they call it that. And then I check them. And if any of them have any roughness or excessive play side to side or, vertically, horizontally, whatever, then I get rid of them. But if they pass the test, then, they get dried off and put back in the car at some point. I just keep them in my bin of bearings. But these are brand new, because that's all we've had for a while. All right. So most important part about building a differential for an arrma, if you have an aluminum case, you cannot get any grease or debris in the holes where the bolts go. That's all there is to it. If you have any debris in there, grease, diff lube, whatever, the bolts, even with red Loctite, will not stay. They will back out. So you need to make sure, even after filling the damn thing, it's clean. This is why I use this method when I'm assembling differentials. Now, if the bolts come loose on the other side, it doesn't make a big difference, because that doesn't change the ring gear's position to the pinion. If the bolts come loose on the ring gear side, it does. So dry before lube, when you're assembling your differential, you bolt down the ring gear with Loctite first. Then you fill it from the opposite side, because that guarantees you won't get any lube on the bolts on the ring gear side. Or if you're good enough, you won't get any lube anywhere, but it's hard to do. Pipe cleaners, that's cool, man. I wish I had some. I just run them through with a big ass bolt. Usually. So let's get our gear pack out of here. Oof. There you go. Yeah, that's definitely 200 remnants of it. So, get this thing a little bit cleaned up. Not really worried about it. Same bullshit going back into it. And then this got to be replaced, so we got to reassemble this. Actually, we got to reassemble both sides because we're changing the bearings. So, gaskets look good. That's a good thing. Oh, and when you're assembling dry, use your gaskets too because that'll make a difference in the amount of area. If you've watched any of my diff building videos, I do actually check the looseness on the spider gears and all that shit on a dry assembly before it's got lube put in it. It's a good idea. Yep, big old chunk of shit. Oh, yeah. Yep, there's a lot of shit in that one. Whoop. Big old chunk of shit. And whoop, another big old chunk of shit. So that's how I do it. If I had pipe cleaners, yeah, I'd be rubbing alcohol and shit, but I don't. But I will get some. Thanks, Mike. So here we go. Gear off. More modifications. All right. So the washer that replaces the clutch pack for the LSD setup. I cut those washers in 4 places on both sides, opposite each other. Like, some are cut this way and then some are cut that way on the other side. I do that because that washer doesn't have the ability to retain lubricant. And if it can't retain lubricant, then what it's going to do is this little thin washer that you have on the inside of the diff, because it goes big washer, small washer after the seal on an EXP, is going to get cut down to nothing. I've had them go whatever the measurement is. It's like 0.02 inch down to half of that because that gear or that washer is just grinding it when it's side loaded or when your differential is working. It's just pushing the gears outward, so it's just grinding into that. So if you put those slots in it, you can actually retain lubricant between the washer and that, and therefore not wear it out. So that's another little mod I do to this. His teammate and Hulkenberg and then there. Oh, a little more. Yeah, pin center. That's definitely got a space on it. All right, so there we go. That one's done. And now I'm going to show you how we shim differentials because we don't do it the way ours is because that way is stupid. So there's your shim. All right, it's an axle shim. Same thing you get for axles. All right, you put it in between the ring gear and your bearing. And what does that do? The same thing as armor differential shims do. It pushes your ring gear over closer to your pinion. And if you do it their way, you're going to fight with those little pieces of crap for like 10 hours trying to get all of them in there to make it tight enough as it should be, if you're doing it that way. And you're going to bend the hell out of them, and they're going to be hanging out of the case when you tighten it down. It's just going to be a freaking mess. So if you do it the way I just showed you, you don't have to deal with that because it either fits or it doesn't. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad that my mind made something that helps people because that's all I'm good for, really. So we got our pin back in there. As usual, sealed, big washer, small washer, blah, blah, blah. Pin, absence of LSD washer. This guy, like I said, cut on both sides. Slap that bad boy down, put your gear on, check your gear for broken. I've broken a lot of these little teeth on the inside. I haven't recently because like I said, I do shim them. I will put an extra washer in on the small washer when I put it together if I find it's loose on the spiders when I assemble it dry before I assemble it. So that is a thing. So we will assemble this, hopefully with new bolts, if I have them in stock. That washer, or that, yeah, okay, that's off. My gasket's not lined up. There we go. Okay, now we're cooking with monkey. All right, so there we go. And literally douse it all the way around. Where is my red Loctite? There it is. Just about out of this shit. I'll let that sit there for a second and get some screws if we have them. Like I said, I'd rather have them brand new or at least bathed. I don't think I have enough to do. Brand new. There's one. Yeah, that's all I got. All right. Hulkenberg finally gets to spray the champagne, and it's the traditional slam into the floor for the man closing in on the points lead of the World Championship. But this is not a day for the whole year. This is a day to savor the sight and sound of silver. And I'll just use out of the 8 that came out of it, I'll use the best looking 4 for the other side. Because I accept that as acceptable. So, you know what bothers me is how many times am I going to do this today? Because it's not going to be once. Not with 6 different differentials to go through between my 2 trucks and my last truck. Yeah. I mean, I might not have to rebuild all of them. I got to check them all. Because the night after the bash, you never forget which diffs were clicking and which weren't. Front, rear, you don't remember that shit. What do you do? Charge the battery, go drive it again? Nah. Check them. Maybe you got one that's getting loose, but ain't loose yet. Fix it now. Nip that shit in the bud. Oh my God, he's crying. Dude, he's 37. He's been in Formula One for 10 years. He even left for a year or 2 and got called back. He just got his first podium. Good for him. Stand-up dude, too. Like, he's never done anything shady, like, that's been documented on TV. Because, trust me, they follow these fuckers like a hawk. We had this one Russian driver once that was riding a car with a Google promoter, some chick, and, like, told her to SSD, and then she said no, and then he punched her in the face, and it was all on tape. It's like, okay, you need to go back home, dude. Like, you're crazy. And yeah, he got ousted because of the whole Russian war thing. They kicked him straight out of it. He was a piece of crap anyway. He was like driving for the worst team possible. His dad was an arrogant a-hole. The only reason he had a ride is because his dad gave the team $30 million a year. That's what I like to hear, buddy, right there. That last comment. Thank you. All right. I need to put lube in this, which is probably going to take a minute because all my lube bottles are right side up. It's the big truck? Yeah, it's the big truck. You know what? I'm going to go 5 in the middle or 5 in the front. Because on the big truck, I usually do 5 in the front, 2 in the rear, 100,000 in order to get it to steer the way I like it. And still have the back end loose. On a 4-wheel drive, I like it front drive heavy. Like, I want the front to have as much torque or, you know, a roundabout as the rear end does. Because even when it's on a wheelie, I want to know when I come down on it and then dump the front end into the ground, compress, crank the wheel, and hit it, it's going to dig out of that corner. Change direction as fast as I want it to. Because this truck was my first truck, and it's always been an extension of my body. It just works the way I want it to. It does everything I tell it to. It just works. The stunt truck can be a little weird because it's bouncy. It's strange. I mean, it just slides on its roof. It's a stunt truck. I mean, you've seen monster trucks on TV. No, you've seen probably in person. They're not exactly normal driving vehicles. They bounce around, they do weird shit, and they're hard to control. Kind of like my stunt truck. It essentially is a fifth scale monster truck, or this is like a fifth scale racing truck. Yeah. Oh, and Claire's invading again. Hair. Really? The nice thing about the whole situation is that she can never accuse me of leaving hair anywhere. Unless it's purple. All right, so this is trash, unfortunately. So this is another example of bolt failure. The bolt's backing out. You can see how there's different spots where it went flat. So that's another bolt failure. I've already got an example of bolt failure. So there's $30 in the garbage. That's why you got to make sure your bolts are tight in your diff and make sure your bearings are solid, because that's the choke point right now. The drivetrain. That's it. Everything else we break seems to be at random. A pin, a CVD, stuff like that. I mean, differential failure that's caused by you. If you do these things just fucking perfect, and even though I do them the way I do them, they're not always perfect. Sometimes there's just something that makes it go wrong. But if you do them perfect, they'll last. And you can see my experiments throughout the years. You can see how many shims I put behind the pinion that jacked it right into the diff case. Probably not until I screwed the diff cover down, though. Probably didn't know about it. I was very naive about these vehicles when I got back into this hobby, and now I've learned quite a bit, and I've designed quite a bit of fixes for these things, because they ain't perfect. I mean, it's not like if you talk about engineers, right? So an engineer working for like Ford that runs actually like say a team of 10 other engineers, and all they do is work on the air conditioning system in the cars they're designing. Right? That guy probably gets like 110 a year, 150 a year. And then his subordinates probably make, almost three figures, like 60, 50K a year. And then the guys who design these things probably get like 37, 40K a year. So you can't expect that much from, either somebody who doesn't care about advancing their career or a first year out of college engineering student. That's what it is. However, arrma designs, even with the subtle tricks I've made, are way the fuck better than anything Chrysler's produced in the last 5 years. Fucking guarantee you there. Because Fiat, wow, they fucked them up. I tried to call Chrysler Engineering to bitch at them about something the other day. I was that pissed off about this fucking bad design that I had to work on, because it was so impossible to fuck with. And when I got the numbers for Chrysler Engineering, it was Alfa Romeo North America and Fiat North America, because they're owned by Fiat. Or not Fiat. Is Fiat? Yeah, Fiat. Fix it again, Tony. Yeah, Fiat. And Fiat owns Alfa Romeo, so there you go. Yeah. Your Dodge Ram is being designed by the Italians. Most rednecks will get all upset because they're racist. So. Yeah, Italians don't know shit about pickups, bro. Trust me. That's just funny. Who will hit the field for 2025? Dodge Dart is a Fiat in another country. In Italy, it's a Fiat, whatever the hell model. Same motor, same chassis, it's all the same shit. That 2.4 liter that's in the Dodge Dart, that's in a bunch of other shit. Yeah, that's a Fiat motor too. It's a Fiat. Call it what you want, and if you have one that's 15 to 20 years old, well, no, let's say 10 to 15 years old, if you have a Dodge 15 to 20 years old, guess what that is? That's a Mercedes. Yeah, your Dodge Hellcat or whatever the hell. Yeah, you know what that is? That's an old E-Class rebadged. That's all it is, man. You think Dodge made up freaking 6-point front-end suspension? No, that's a German thing. They've been doing it forever. Yes, the Dart is a disgrace to the original. Absolutely. It's a fucking Fiat. If old man Dodge or whoever the hell it was that started that company had seen that thing and how it's made and what it does, he'd probably kill himself, like straight up. He'd probably grab the nearest sharp object and stab it directly into his heart because it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. There's nothing darty about it except how fast it needs to go back to the dealership and get fixed. It's just a pile of shit. And that motor is even a bigger pile of shit. That motor's all kinds of shit. Do you know what the most money-making motor we have right now is? Like, what motor do we make the most money off in the shop? Like, when we hear, oh, we're getting a minivan with this motor in it, or we're getting a Jeep with this motor in it. Because now, the Jeep is not Jeep anymore. No, Jeep is bullshit. Patriot, fuck you. Fucking Fiat. The new Wrangler, fucking Fiat. It's all crap. Anyway, which motor do you think is the most lucrative motor in the automotive repair field? Take a guess. Or if you don't know what motors are put in them, I'll tell you. It's a funny thing because the same displacement by other manufacturers is also a piece of shit, but not near as bad. I haven't driven one yet. I haven't worked on one yet, so I can't tell you anything yet. But I can tell you this. It's a goddamn Ferrari is what it is. Because it looks like Pininfarina himself fucking penned that car. That car is designed like a goddamn Ferrari. It's a mid-engine Ferrari. It's a dry sump oil system Ferrari. It's not a Ferrari engine. I know that. It's definitely a GM built engine. But, just copy the fucking car. I mean, they finally got away from leaf springs, thank God, because leaf springs are great for race cars. But what did they put in it? Electromagnetic suspension, which if anything goes wrong, it's like 10 grand. That's cool. Why don't you offer a model without it? No, they don't. No, that's better. That's 500K right there all day. I haven't driven one. I have driven a Ferrari 599 or 488 GTB, something like that. I can't remember the direct acronym. It's twin turbo, 4 something liter V8. That was amazing to drive. The power band was excellent. Yeah, I mean, it was peaky, but all Ferraris are because they all rev high. So, but it was just phenomenal to drive. And I can't imagine a C8 would be better than that. All right, so, I think I got my gear on the wrong side. Stupid ass. Come here. All right, so, put our diff back together here with the axles if possible. If you line the flat spots up on the outdrives, it makes it a lot easier to put in the hole because it's not going to hit your shock tower or anything if you're doing it this way. All right, so we got this all back in. So let's push it in real hard and check our play. All right, so we've got that much play right now. That to me is too much. I don't like it. But now we got to figure out where we got to take it out. Are we going to take it out of the pinion or are we going to take it out of the diff? If we take it out of the diff, we got to take the diff back apart and we got to take the crown gear side or the ring gear side off. So that will open us to the possibility of getting shit in our bolt holes. And we don't want that because that comes apart. So I'm going to see if I can fit something on the pinion side without making contact with the case, of course. So, pop this bad boy off, get our disc back out, and oh, yeah, there she goes. Oh, that was on the front of the bearing. Okay, so right now we've got, looks like a small axle shim. So yeah, and it's concave, so it's not even working anymore. This will happen sometimes on pinion shims. They'll get this little work to them, like they'll turn into a little saucer kind of thing. That's usually from wear, pressure, bearing failure, even though we don't have bearing failure yet on this one. Shit. So finding shims is hard right now because Claire kind of mixed everything up. They're not in the right place, to put it that way. I don't want to dump this out, but I think I might have to. Yep, there's one. All right. Come here. Come here. Motherfucker. All right, there it is. So that is the wrong size. That one's concave too.
There's a chance here to score big points. It's very unpredictable out there right now.
Well, this is being a motherfucker. I got 3 or 4 of these fucking twos that are concaved out. So, alright. Well, here's the thicker one. Actually, no, that's a thin one too. But it's got a little concave on it. Try. No, can't put that there. Support it with a different washer, but let's try it out.
Incredibly difficult conditions for everyone right now.
Yeah.
It never rains, but it pours. That is a proper dumping of water as he would go Wellington straight into Brooklyn.
Right. Yeah.
Look at how much traction Lando Norris has in comparison. Send it to Maggot's corner. Side by side, Lando Norris knows he's got better tyres at the moment. And Verstappen is clinging on to
too much. Way too much.
Video message there. They're bringing in Piastri.
No, that is a huge gap.
No. 1, 2, 3 in this time.
Not gonna work. You have to pull it apart. This is the conundrum with building freaking perfect differentials, is that you just have to go through all this work to make it perfect. And building something and taking it back apart again sucks. But there's not enough room between the pinion and the case to put another shim on the pinion, so I'm gonna have to actually put another shim in the differential.
This is on the verge of a safety car, and it is
extraordinary. I'm just gonna like fast forward this part for you, but yeah, it is what it is.
Oscar Piastri has a clear view. Everyone else, less so. As we go back to attacking racing at the British Grand Prix. That is Russell to the inside of Lewis Hamilton.
That's crazy. I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, but that's not usable on a road course. It's hardly usable on a drag strip with a car with that weight. You know, you've got to do so much just to make it hook up. You know, I'd rather have something that's like, say, 1,800 pounds, 1,700 pounds. I don't know how many kilos that is. And with about 400 horsepower, 500 horsepower. Perfect. As long as it's got about the same amount of torque. You know, that's a drivable power band that you can rip the shit out of and have a good time with. When you got so much power, you have to light your foot. It's not fun. You know, because you just end up in a ditch. I mean, like, look what happened when Lando freaking, that was his name, Formula One driver, Lando Norris, right? Let somebody drive his personal Ferrari F40. One of the greatest cars ever made, even though hard as shit to drive because it had massive turbos and a huge turbo lag. And dude spun it as soon as he got in the second. As soon as the turbos kicked in, which you have to wait for, you have to know they're coming because it's a huge turbo lag and a massive kick in the ass. And as soon as the turbos kicked in, he spun it sideways and put it right into a bridge just outside of Monaco. You know, like massive horsepower is like great and all, but if you can't use it, what's the point? It's kind of like being a quadriplegic with a 12-inch dick. You know, you really got to try hard to get somebody to look at it. Once you do, I'm sure they're going to be enjoying it. But, you know, what's it worth having if you can't use it? That's the point I'm trying to make. You know, I mean, I prefer the same concepts that Gordon Murray likes, who is a professional car designer who has designed his own supercar, the T50, that sold out before they ever even produced one. And also designed the McLaren MP44, the most winningest Formula One car of all time, that won all but one race out of that season. And it was 15 out of 16 back then. They didn't have that many races. They didn't have 24 like they do now. Anyway, And he designed it with a couple other dudes, but he's a great designer. So once he got out of Formula One, he decided to start his own company. And starting a car company that makes supercars, you're going against Ferrari, Lamborghini, Pagani. You know, trying to survive that financially is very, very difficult, especially when you're talking about having some shit that's never been done before. And that car's got active aerodynamics. So, and it's passive active aero. I don't know if you understand that. It's active aero that works on its own. It doesn't have things that move. It does have things that move, but a lot of it is just the design is so good that as the airspeed increases from the car going faster, it changes because of the air at that speed will stall or will do something different at that speed versus a lower speed. So it's actually passive active aero. That's pretty intense. And if you look up the T50 on Google, it's one hell of a car. So you don't need 1,000 fucking horsepower. You need something that handles and works right and uses all the power it has properly. That's my point. Because everybody's making 1,000 horsepower out of an LS these days. I mean, it's the most popular motor to swap into everything, even fucking Civics. Well, no, I haven't seen it in the Civic, but I've seen it in Miatas. It's pointless. There's no reason to have that big of a fucking motor and that much power. Like, honestly, it's really hard to put a V8 in a Miata and still make it handle. However, it can be done. I've seen it done. I've driven it done. You have to keep the independent rear suspension, and you have to add weight to the rear end to balance the car, because the Miata is almost a perfect 50-50 weight balance from the factory. It's the most autocrossed car in the country. But if you drop a giant lump of shit in the front, like a 500-pound motor versus the 200-pound motor that comes with it, it's going to fuck your balance up. So you need to correct for that. In fact, I prefer to keep the 4-cylinder and build that up and turbo that and then make around 400, and that's all you fucking need. In fact, Flying Miata made a 477 horsepower, 477 foot-pound of torque Miata off a same block design Kia motor, because Kia used the design that Mazda already had for the block. So grab a Kia block, 2.4 liter, where the Mazda was 2.0. I think it was bored over, stroked, or whatever. And made that car and went out and smoked a Viper ACR on a racetrack. Now, a Viper ACR, I don't know, is if you want to buy a race-only Viper that's not street legal, you can buy one from GM. And that's it, the Viper ACR. It is close to the one they took to Le Mans. All right, so now we're here. That's a tiny, tiny bit. I believe now, when it's bolted on, when the case is put on, the cover, it will be tight. So now we're going to try that, because that will take a little bit out of it. Diff back out. All right. So let's get this back together with our axles. And bolt the case on, and cross your fingers, and say, fuck me running with a pair of shoes. Whatever. This one time at technician camp, just kidding. No such thing. Aluminum cases on plastic, aluminum covers on plastic cases will give you more rigidity. It's not just because I'm retarded. And yes, these bolts are extremely long. That's because it's been drilled and tapped all the way to the bottom of the hole, or as far as I can go, I should say. Spare bolt. Yeah. That's it. As well, still competing in this middle sector of anyone's earlier on, Oliver Behrman was in I don't know if you ever heard of, you probably haven't. I'm sure you heard of Cosworth engine company, right? They make custom engines and take stock engines and make them amazing. So way back in the day, Formula One history, there's a documentary 2-part series called The Turbo Era, It's about when F1 came into the turbo era. Before the turbo era, there was this guy, Chris Duckworth. Yes, that was his fucking name. He was British. He developed a motor called the Ford DFV, double 4-valve. It was a dual overhead cam, 4-valve per cylinder, V8. I don't know what the angle was. 3-liter with individual throttle bodies or individual fuel injection. Pretty much they just stuck trumpets on it and did mechanical injection on those. And that's pretty much how they all work. It was the #1 engine in Formula One for freaking like 10 years. Everybody ran that motor. Everybody ran it. Nobody could touch it. And then it became legal to run turbos, but you had to run half the displacement. So you had to have a 1.5 turbo or a 3-liter naturally aspirated. And Renault said, we're going to turbo our shit. And they had this car called the Yellow Teapot because it would eventually smoke and steam out of it, within a certain amount of time when it went around the track. And they had no reliability whatsoever. It blew up every race. But after about 2 years, they got it down, and they smoked everybody, and everybody went to turbos. So when this dude was developing a new motor for Ford with a car called team called Beatrice, it was a shipping company out of Chicago, I believe. He goes through the whole design process, and you get to watch him work, and he's talking about why he does this. And one of the things that blew my mind is that the head bolts going into the block were angled. They weren't perpendicular to the cylinder. They were angled inward, I believe. And the reason is because if you do that, then as the pressure is being put on the head, not only do the bolts hold it down, but there's the side force of it preventing the head from moving. And that kind of shit's impressive to me. Because who would have thought to put the bolt sideways? No, I'm sure that's commonplace in engineering these days, but I'm not an engineer. I didn't even take it into school. I wasn't even allowed to. They put me in a dropout block and thought I was going to burn the house down. I don't blame them. I set a coworker on fire once. But, shit like that is just like, that's fucking brilliant. I get that. Like the variable turbo. I'm obviously seeing how those work. That's a pretty cool idea. If I understood a lot more about aerodynamics and thermodynamics, I probably would have thought of it myself. And knew more about turbos. Like, I know about turbos, but like these guys know about turbos. Like, they have them on dynos all day long, balancing and blueprinting and figuring out their compressor maps and all that shit. Yeah, I'm not that good. Anyway, enough about technical bullshit. Where the fuck is Nick? Okay, so case is bolted on, right? So I told the outdrive, and there's zero play. So I hold the outdrive. You can watch the gear, right? If this moves, the gear moves. There is no play. But I can spin it by hand, nice and freely. There's very, very little drag, but there's no grease in there either. So there is a little hard spot there. It's probably a chunk of shit in one of the gears or something. I don't have any brake cleaners. So. Anyway, so that's the perfect diff. Zero play, free moving. Hard to do. Takes a lot of work. But it will survive constant bashing, wheelies, back flips, front flips, standing back flips and front flips. Multiple landings on throttle, which no matter how hard we try, we can't get away from it because we all do it sometimes when we get a little excited, we got a little trigger happy, and we'll land on throttle. And landing on throttle is the #1 destruction of drivetrain you can possibly do. It doesn't like to move when the axles are completely jacked up. A little more grease than that. You get in it. Oh, I got more of this out in the garage. Oh, monster numbers from. Yeah, I mean, seriously. I mean, what's the fucking point? You know what the fastest car is in the world around a circuit right now? The fucking what the fuck's it called? The McMurdy. The McMurdy. All right, it's a fan car. Fan car means it's got a fan in it that sucks the air out from underneath it, and it's probably skirted because that's how they do that. So it creates its own aerodynamics. This thing produces a G of downforce sitting still. And it's the fastest car in the world around a circuit, no matter what. And it blew away the time trial at Goodwood. I don't know if you know about the Goodwood Festival of Speed. That's on my bucket list. And I've already been to England, so that kind of sucks because I wish I would have known. Anyway, yeah, the McMurray, I forgot the name, the model of the car, but it is just stupid. And it's because it sucks itself to the ground. It doesn't weigh shit, and it's got a pretty decent motor in it. But it's not 1,000 horsepower. It's probably not 900. I think it's more like something in the 6 ranges. But it's faster than all that other shit. I mean, fucking how big are we going to go on horsepower? Fucking really? I mean, let's see you get 500 from a 1 liter. Then I'll be impressed. Tap is needed always. Yeah, I mean, trigger tap to lift the nose. You know, I mean, that's, of course. No, I never hold full throttle. The only time I hold full throttle, okay, backflips, right? You hold full throttle until you rotate enough, and then you drop off. You know, you just let go of the trigger before you land. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Front flips, I mean, you're holding brakes, so you know, just let off before you land. That's all you got to do. Let off before you land. Unless you got like tires that are easy to blow off, then you know, you let go as soon as you're airborne. All right, so that is repaired, and that is freely movable now because before I thought I had a bent hinge bend, but no, I had a broken B block. So we can put this back on the truck, and the truck will be good. So since we're still working on that truck, let's check the rear end. Hopefully the rear end is good, and then I can just put it back together and be done and move on to my next truck. So rear end, hold still. All right, I've got about 2 credit cards. No, 2 business cards worth moving. That's okay with me. I'm gonna leave that alone. I can move it freely. Yep, she's good. Okay, she's fine. Leave that alone. However, I have another problem with this truck I gotta fix. My fucking motor's coming out the goddamn car, bro. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck that happened. I ain't never seen that before. Not on any of my rigs, but you know, I guess I didn't use enough Loctite. So that's the only other thing I need to fix on this thing, and then I'll move on to, I don't know, probably Claris, because I think it'll be more relevant to current market due to the fact that it's a V6. And even V6s need a little Logan love. I gotta take this chassis back apart and polish it again sometime. I could have done like a lot more with it. I just, after an hour, I was like, fuck it. Polishing chassis takes a long time. Oh, I need to replace a bolt back here too. Before I forget.
The mix, the top 6 were separated by 2/10 of a second.
Oh, well, that is a kind of long bolt. Not really. All right. So another 3 mil. 3 mil button head. You don't see those very often. Yeah, I thought I would put a power sink in it. A nice big fucker. Hold that bitch together.
With the rapid Red Bull set up to be quick in a straight line, the dog pole.
I think Claire gets this organization thing.
Lando Norris, George Russell in the end. In a 10th of a second, didn't have 2 runs on new tyres.
No, this is the bullshit hodgepodge together wheelie bar. V6 mount with RPM V5 wheelie bar with I think it's the top of one of these braces. I cut it off and I used that for a spreader bar in the back. Yeah, it's ghetto as fuck, but whatever. All right, so get this fucker out of here. Oh, the fan was disconnected. That's fucking awesome. All right, so see this fan guard, like, you know, whatever shit filter? Fuck you want to call it. That's a divider for little plastic trays to keep your parts in and shit. Yeah, I just cut it and drilled it. Nice reuse, huh? Oh god, this screw sucks. Yeah, I don't know about that. Oh, no. That is fucked. Boy. Yeah, that is not good. All right. I can't separate this because I heat shrink the whole fucking thing. I'm going to have to heat that up and try to find a perfect specimen of an Allen wrench to try to get that out. I doubt it's going to happen. Wait a second. Actually, fuck that thing. I can just do these bolts without it. I just got to get them probably hot because I'm sure they're on red. No doubt they're on red. And they do have some memory of threads left. They are tight, so they're on red.
Five red lights at Silverstone. And the British Grand Prix is go. They crawl from the line, and Oscar Piastri has the traction. Max Verstappen thinks about the job. He hangs on to the race lead from pole position. Piastri is now compromised, and Lando Norris knows it. The driver currently in third, trying to improve ahead. He can't get by, but he's angling that car. Hamilton diving to the inside. The top four remain. How they left the grid. Verstappen, then Piastri, Norris, and Hamilton. Gasly got a mighty launch on the way.
Yeah, we'll let that get hot.
Look at that, an early break from Verstappen. There's the two McLarens were heavy contact.
Right,
I saw the flash of Lawson spinning around, but
fucking bearings for the steering.
and race over. He'll see
Razor
Yuki Tsunoda on his inside.
Yeah, I don't.
Wherever this house was next to me, he just goes straight to the side of me.
What happened to the Brazilian driver in the points a week ago? Look, it's so slow. He's on slick tires. He's going to apply the power and off.
So I don't know how to use one of these without coughing.
It's okay, that works.
Stroll has come into the pit lane. There's a chance here to score big points. It's very unpredictable out there right now. Verstappen is loose. He's fast and loose right now out front, keeping the McLaren behind. But look at his line. He's soaring away. He's nearly lost it. And Piastri just has to pick his moment. The championship leader comes out of the slipstream, past the Red Bull. Papaya out front. Piastri takes the lead of the British Grand Prix. And even though this is the Lando Norris grandstand,
While this is getting hot, I'm gonna go see where the fuck Nick is since I don't have my phone.
I'll
be right back.
Yep. Dumping of water.
Garbage overspray.
Straight into Brooklyn.
Trash, brand new.
Look
it.
at how
I got like
Lando
way
Norris
better
has
ones than I got a lot of them.
Send it to Maggot's corner, side by side. Lando Norris knows he's got better tyres at the moment, and Verstappen is clinging on to the track at the moment.
We saw that radio message there. They're bringing in Piastri.
He's off. He's off at last. Couple of moments, 1, 2, 3, and this time he goes off the racetrack, and Max Verstappen will just bring it back to the pits. They will all be heading in on this lap. So those who have stopped, it's not quick there for Lando Norris, and Max Verstappen, having lost the position, gains it back. And Charles Leclerc off the road at Beckett's corner, and he is lucky because that grass is not flat, I can tell you. This is on the verge of a safety car, and it is extraordinary rain. It is biblical out there. Oscar Piastri has a clear view. Everyone else, less so. As we go back to attacking racing at the British Grand Prix, and that is Russell to the inside of Lewis Hamilton at Abbey Turn. That's an unusual one. Yeah, Hamilton's still struggling to find the grip. The first couple of laps of the race, he was there. Oh, it was very, very tight, very, very close to contact as Hamilton gets ahead. They're scrambling around Ocon, who is dropping like a stone, but that was a brilliant move then from Hamilton, having lost the place to Russell. Went around the outside of Ocon, Russell looked to the inside, and he lost one place, but then gained two. And the safety car is out once more, because it's a big moment for Isaac Hadjar, who's gone off on the restart lap.
Well,
This gives us a great insight to just how little the car see. He's really
you put on whatever you want on TV. I'm fucked there. I found him loosely.
Oh my goodness.
The safety car is ending, and that is Max Verstappen past the race leader. Enough for the timing to swap them round. Here we go again.
Gripped it, but it wouldn't turn it. It was slipping around.
Whoa! Max Verstappen spins around from second position
there you
and
go.
loses
Yeah,
a
one down.
places. Verstappen had to take a booking action.
Oh, she got me, bitch.
Position in the Grand Prix.
Everything that's stripped out and the top's got to go. Oh, tough.
He's in a Williams sandwich at the moment.
Really? It's a little longer than it should be, probably. I'm sticking on the pinion, that's the problem. Alright, that's fine. I'll get it out of here. Hey, Brody boy.
So Hamilton, will he go for the
All
inside?
right.
This is what he wants, the inside.
Yeah, you should have been here. Well, I can't use my phone. I'm using it for a camera.
The Ferrari man is up to P5.
So I can't. He said he was going to get a haircut and something else to come over.
DRS, Hulkenberg goes through.
And I don't even know if I can reconnect it if I take it off.
It is race number
Oh, another thing I wanted you to do is give me another drink.
And you just watch Hulkenberg go to third.
Vodka's to the right under the sink. Cranberries in the fridge. Ice is in the freezer. Whenever you're done. If you have muscle pains, dude, I got a tense device for that.
No, I tried using the barbells. I have an 8-pound barbell.
Right.
Doing reps one night.
Okay.
I'm just a little sore.
Of course, that's what happens. Sore every fucking day. It's called work. And dehydration.
There we go. Number 4 comes up.
That's what happens when you work out. You get sore. And when you get old, you get sore for 3 days. Lots of water and Gatorade will help. Ibuprofen, Oxycontin, heroin. Not that I've ever been on heroin, though. I did government issued heroin, Oxycontin. That's government heroin.
Take off the pit stop because that one's gone to
And if
plan.
anybody out there doesn't know that, that's absolutely fucking correct. It's the same
How
goddamn
can
thing.
he keep it between
Just
the
clean
white lines with Piastri 5.8 seconds behind?
If they don't say, would you like some heroin at the hospital when you have a surgery, do they? By the way, I highly suggest if they ask you in the hospital if you want some Dilaudid, don't go for it. Only intravenously, though. Intravenously, it's fucking nice. Bill Farm, fuck, who cares?
In
Completely different thing.
2025, it's Norris's name on the trophy. Lando Norris wins the British Grand Prix.
That's a crazy fucking race, man.
Piastri will say the penalty was so unfair.
All right, well, I can't put music on because my phone's weird, so I'll put it on the TV.
Points out
Ow,
of
God. I just stepped on.
You just can't put anything on there with words. If you put other music that doesn't have words, you won't get copyright.
Yeah, you can. YouTube has hit me for fucking music with no words.
What?
Yeah. I don't care. Honestly, honestly, I'm probably gonna contact these bands and ask for permission because I'm sure they would be just fine with it because these are punk rock bands and punk rock is not all commercialized like fucking Metallica is. They don't care. And, if you're gonna put our music out to another source of people getting to hear our shit, yeah, sure. And I mean, they're rich and old. They don't care. They're all in their 50s. Those are old punk rock like me. Yay. Good puppy. Seriously? 5 weeks later. All right. If you go to search, it'll come up with bad religion or no effects. Just click on one of them.
It probably wouldn't be bad to restart the Wi-Fi. It hasn't been restarted in a while.
Well, Nick, when I'm in the middle of a live stream, I don't think that's a good idea.
You're not connected to that with that computer.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
I'm connected to both.
No. Your TV and phones are connected to the Wi-Fi, AT&T Wi-Fi.
Okay, so if I go look right now at the Wi-Fi, I'm not connected to that.
No, you're connected with the Ethernet cord, right?
Right, and that's my
computer.
backup.
Yeah, that's your.
And the internet Wi-Fi is my backup.
That's connected to your mom's.
All right, you know what, Nick? Fucking go right ahead. Go reset it. Go ahead. Go reset it. Go. Okay, if you say it's not gonna go, fucking do it.
It's not going to touch your life.
Yeah. Definitely won't slow it down at all. Here we go. All right, 2 bolts out. Stuck bolts with Loctite, even half strip. Solder and iron will get it done every time. And now that he's doing something else because he saw something shiny, I gotta put music on. Every time. Ooh, shiny. ADHD like a motherfucker. Fucking really, come on, fuck off. This is such a piece of shit. Yeah, there goes that. That's all I gotta say about that. All right. Roughly, yeah, about that long. Couple of counterstomachs for this cheapo GPM motor mount. I've been a couple armor ones, so I was like, fuck it, I'll just throw this one in it because we had it spare. It came off of some truck we bought. That would have been funny, huh? Everybody caught that. Oh, yeah, that's right. Come on. Really? Nah, no, you don't. Oh, fuck you. Come on. Yeah, there you go. Good shot. Right in the hole. Oh, fucker. Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay. Yeah, that's what she said. Dun, dun, dun. Over here. Alright. Down and done. And fixed. Alright. Put that bitch back in, reset the valve, or not valve lash. Fucking pinion gear lash. Valve lash. That's a good one. No valve lash on the fucking armor. Oh man, just pin slide out. And, like I said, you can't work on one of these without finding 20 things wrong you weren't expecting to fix at that time. Fuck is he barking about? Brody, what's your problem, buddy? So I guess Nick went inside the house to fuck shit up even worse. Whatever. I guess he needs his recharge time so he can sing for more than a second.
See, it didn't affect you at all.
Do you know that for a fact?
You would have yelled at me if it did.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't talk shit about you on TV the whole time you were gone? Like I said, it's my backup. It's not my primary source, dude.
Yeah.
If the friggin' Ethernet goes down, it switches. Yes, I set that up. Yes, I know how to operate computers for some part. Okay. Or for
See, now it's working. That,
what's working? It was working just fine before. It just needed to take a long time because fucking YouTube sucks. Not Pennywise. Go to Weekend at Fatty's. That's pretty good. The next one over. No, it's not bad. That's No Effects live in the lead singer's backyard during COVID. A couple bands came in. Pennywise, Rancid, they were there. Probably more than that. It's actually a song by No Effects that I just discovered recently, or like realized the lyrics recently, about Mike's whole ordeal with cross-dressing and how he's been doing it his whole life. He's not not bi or anything like that. Well, he's probably bi, but he's a transvestite. He likes to dress in women's clothes, but he likes to be dude. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny. Like his whole storytelling about the whole situation and growing up and having to deal with it, not wanting to share it with people, hiding, you know, that kind of thing. And all the guys in NoFX are like older than me. They're all in their 50s. The punk band's been around since the beginning of time. They've been a band longer than the Rolling Stones. I don't press and hold the throttle. I press and hold it. No, I don't. Ladies, don't think that. That'd be a terrible thing. You definitely have to get it warmed up long before you put any pressure on it. I understand that. Same thing with the G-spot. Yeah. There we go. Perfect mesh right there. Okay. Just a touch of play. Minimal amount of play, still free moving. Like everything else. All right. Okay. We got to bolt the front end back on. Woke up. Quick tip. When you're putting in your screw for your chassis mounts that bolt to the chassis and bolt to the front and rear end, always use the longest screw you can find, as long as you got enough sticking through the backside of it to grab it with a pair of pliers. Because if that bitch snaps off, and they do on occasion, you want to be able to get it out. If you have enough thread sticking through the backside, even with the head broken off, you can extract it. Bam, done. Ran over. Front drive shaft. This one I got in house. And this is the fun part, trying to get that damn axle to line up. Damn asshole. Axle. Oh, and also your chassis brace can get in the way. Ah, you bastard. Alright, yeah. See, like I said, chassis brace can totally get in the way. Just hold it from going back. There we go. Alright, now we're in. There we go. Alright, and since I still got one bolt on the top of the steering just hanging out, I'm going to use that to hold this bitch together because I don't want to use it again. There we go. Now, more important, check your depth on your bolt holes before you stick massive bolts in your shit. Right? You can see how deep the hole is. You know, you don't want to stick a bolt bigger than that in it. However, that's a different story. Where your front case is, your bolts need to be smaller than the actual hole because you're going to be pushing against the front case. So, being what came out of it, I'm going to put the same thing back in it. Standard length. Same thing that Armor gives you stock. Because there's nothing else attached to the chassis. Like when you go to one of these big boys and like, you know, all that shit, you got to use some long fucking bolts. Because I ripped, well, just one case apart with that thing. But
The whole thing is that we're going to get to play with all of our friends hanging out, and it's going to be like we're on video.
Nick, you don't have to watch all the bullshit. You can fast forward to the music.
I'm hoping it's going to be like, hey, I haven't seen anybody in a long time. Be able to mingle again.
That's the nice thing about having this really shitty screwdriver is that the chuck won't grab this rod enough to torque anything. So I don't have to worry about stripping any bolts out. I just tighten them up and then I just go back at the end like I normally would and with a driver and finish it.
The stakes have been raised and covered in cheese.
If you have to cover steak and cheese, you did something wrong. Oh, never mind. Cheesesteak? A cheesesteak isn't steak. It's fucking what do they call that? Chip steak. Fucking it's bullshit meat that's in a weird area that they made into little tiny bits. That's all that is. All right, so bumper, right? Need to do Logan's bumper mod. Shit, I need a pen. Some kind of pen. Some kind of marker. Some kind of fucking monkey fucker. What? Ooh, fuck the chicken. So, let's line up with that. Down this line. So, right around here.
He's not just a horse.
Around here.
He's a
Then
dragon
front.
horse.
And around
Frankie's
here.
horse
And
and the
here.
best imaginary friend.
So, we get a nice fat drill bit. And these sections that I'm drilling holes in won't even screw with the longevity of it because it's got raised pieces that are above it.
And a child's imagination.
I love it though.
That'll work.
looking forward to this. You know, there's a bunch of family and friends and.
Oh yeah, that dude's from the band Fishbone. I'm sure you've never heard of him because you have no culture with your music, but
My name is Ricky Lowe, and I helped put this thing together with the crew, and really stoked. It's giving a lot of people some opportunity to make some money and get the stuff take the stuff off the guitars and everything, and just me pretty awesome.
get the hell in there. Fucking Bit kept walking on me. All right, so to do this now, you can access your bulkhead bolts without taking your bumper off. So you can tighten them on occasion after a bash. And that way you don't have to do all the extra work for no reason. So can't keep these watching lying around. Keep these watching lying around. I got sold out. That's what I do in my life. Some good punk rock. You smile full of pain. Per day. Without a signature. There's so many things I could tell you to try to watch and enjoy in that video, but I know nothing will make a difference because your ADHD will just kick in and you won't be able to pay attention to anything I tell you for more than half a second. In fact, I'm sure you've already dropped the conversation that I'm having with you. What? Nigger wears a bottle of liquor. Hurts me mine. She sees right through me. Nothing to do for me. Nothing. Just a connection. I know what it's all about. Because I know you've been there, sold out. It's SOULDOUBT. Sold out, not sold out. It's a little time play. Yeah, in other words. Half strip screw. And garbage can. Yeah, that hole is fucked up. That's why it's not working. Where's that fucking tap at? I just used it yesterday. Yeah, I think so. Alright, fucker. Putting a tap in a drill chuck is a bad idea, no matter who you are, so don't do it. Use a tap holder or something like that. But if you're mega careful like that, you can pull it off. Also, if you pack your flutes as a tap with grease, they will collect the chips so that the chips don't get stuck in the new threads you're trying to cut. And also, it will lubricate your making of new threads. So I should have done that, but, you know, I got a lot to do today. I really don't have a ton of time to fuck around. All right, so there's that brand new bumper put on with the Logan mod so you get to your holes. So if you want to tighten up your bulkhead, all you do is done. All right, so now we've got our control arms on, and we've got. I'm gonna have to grab my phone in a minute to call Alan. I don't know where the fuck he is. He should have been here a long time ago. So I put my tie rods together, and then I'm gonna have to do that. And it's gonna suck having to hook that back up afterwards. You don't have his number, right? You don't have Alan's number, right? Oh, you know what? I wonder if I can look it up without disconnecting. Here, do me a favor. Yeah, try this. I'm gonna call him. Oh, I got 7 messages. What the fuck? Chip. Shit. Anybody? Probably not, man. I'm really wore out from yesterday. I doubt we'll make it. I got 6 differentials to rebuild. I've only done 2. Should have gone last night. Bro, where are you at? You should have been here like an hour or 2 hours ago. I got 2 differential cases sitting here for you anyway. I've been using my phone for the video because I'm doing an all-day live cast, so I haven't been able to check it. So, Nick, what's your phone number? 941 893 8820. Call that number if you need to get a hold of me for the next 5 hours. Or just get the hell over here. What the shit, dude? All right, Mike, I'll watch the video later. Nick, you can talk to me. You don't have to text me. I'm still on live. I have been for 2 hours and 15 minutes. All right. So, yeah, no video. I thought so. All right. So now I got to redo all this shit because fucking people don't fucking do what they say they're going to do and come over when they say they're going to come over. And you have to do this shit. I don't have a spare phone because my fucking house burned down. I used to have a spare phone. All right, so I'm going to go back into this program and work this back out. Okay, now that's back up. So now I should be able to cut that. And yeah, wrong fucking lens and it's all fucked up. What? Do you think I want to borrow a thing from Chuck? Not to mention, I highly fucking doubt it. If he has anything, it's probably fucking terrible. See, now my fucking view's all fucked up. You know, I knew that was going to happen. But no, fucking people don't fucking listen. And so I've got to fuck my shit up, my time, my day, my life to help people because they can't help themselves. This is sideways. It's got to be changed again. You know, thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. Everybody who made this possible, that fucked my life up, you know who you are. Suck a dick. Yeah, fucking this one, and then I gotta go to properties. All right, and it's not even letting me change it. Right, it's just great. Okay, that's better, but now I'm on the wrong Zoom, so now I gotta do this, and then I'm gonna have to restart it so I can actually get what I need. So there's that. So now I'm back over here, and then I got to turn that off and then back on. And still didn't come in right. Yeah, it's all fucked up, stretched out funny. Yeah. Well, that's it. Sorry, guys. Fucking, you have to deal with that for the rest of the day because everybody else I know is an asshole. There you go. So that's the way the cameras are going to be for the rest of the day because fucking people suck. Because people don't listen. They lie to you. They say they'll do something. They don't do it. You're just fucking pieces of shit. That's all there is to it. You know, you got to interfere with my life because you can't get yours under control. Thanks. Thanks a lot. You are a substandard human being. Or you're just a teenager and you don't fucking know any better. Well, you know, that happens too. Right, Alan? If he bites your face, that's on you. That's fucking people suck, dude. You know what? I need a 420 brake. That's my problem. But we're gonna have some dead screen for a minute because that seems to be completely fucking necessary right now. Come on, one more fucking nope. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, I threw away a couple. Yeah. All right, here's the last bolt in, so I don't forget it. And I'm gonna take a 420 brake. I'm gonna go my time computer and see what time 4:20 is in Zimbabwe. Alright. That battery has been discharging since I started this podcast or live cast. There you go.
All right, stand up.
Move. Okay, if I'm going that direction, why would you go that direction
I was gonna try
to
be
block
helpful.
me?
I'm gonna try to be helpful.
Right, but you're making it worse. Brody, move! That's all you have to say. He gets out of the way. Or slap him on the butt. I do that too. I don't know. I don't know what his deal is. I guess he's not coming. Fucking whatever, dude. Just flaked out like a bitch. So, you know, I don't understand why people suck. People just fucking can't follow through with fucking life. It's fucking horseshit. You know, just do what you're gonna say what you're gonna do. Getting loaded, 15 years till his liver exploded. Now what Dave gonna do?
Somebody said
now
hello.
that he can't suck. Tell him I said hi. Tell him I'm taking a 420 break. I'll be right there. Be in person. Talk to people. Communicate. It's not hard, Nick. 62 old fuck cushion boots. A girl who rides a tampon to take him out down. They would suck a dick. The trucks go by. You can hear the motherfuckers go, eat a dick. Oh, it's only got 2 more batteries to fucking stabilize. Josh, got one later? Oh, never mind, I got one here. Hey, you want some gummy bears?
Oh, hold on. I'm trying to out-type it.
Hey, there you go. Interact with our fans for once in your fucking life. I don't know about y'all, but trencher fucking Fiscals are definitely a D cup. Oh. Blah, 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 blah. So who showed up? New people?
No, just a haywire.
Oh, Haywire. What up, Haywire? My man. My nitro man in the house. Taking a 420 break. I'll be right there.
You're one of those people that says
That dude shoots some fucking badass videos, dude. I mean, you want to talk about like cinematic, like it looks like the opening of an Arnold Schwarzenegger film without fire. Dude, Jerry Bruckheimer would jump on your shit in a minute.
This melty white American cheese is the luckiest cheese alive. It gets
No, it's not, 'cause it's not pepper jack.
All
right.
Okay,
Sorry,
nice.
other cheese.
Well, I mean, if you're not going to talk to anybody.
The meats.
How about you same truck today? Since the winder, self clean. Don't you hate it when that happens? It's kind of like my GT. It's like I don't know anybody with a gas, anything. You know, whatever. It's just sitting there. In fact, ran into a culvert yesterday full of water. Didn't break anything, but haven't started it since. I have, drained it and all that. But anyway, I haven't put that video up yet. Yeah, we were at the skate park for a good long time last night. We took every single car we had.
Yeah, I gotta blow them out too.
Huh?
I gotta blow the cars out too. I didn't want to turn the compressor on last night.
Well, if you want to fire it up and blow them out now, go ahead, dude.
Well, I mean, they were sleeping last night, so I don't know.
Yeah, fire it up, man. You just got to plug that extension cord in. Just make sure that extension cord doesn't get you hot. Brody, move.
I got it.
Fucking no. Anyway, playing some big next week. Stay tuned. I'm due for upload. You gotta make it count. When do you usually live stream, dude? Because like I've I caught one of yours once, and I'd like to, but it's like, I'm so goddamn busy with people bugging me to fix their shit. Hey, I need a fresh drink again, dude. Remember my drink you spilled? You still haven't refilled it. He's not my slave. I rebuild his cars. Real cars, not RC cars. Yeah, the Civic Challenge, those were Nick's. Go live when I have time. Yeah, I got you, man. I did. Same here, dude. I mean, like, I'm gonna be on all day from noon to whatever because I just did one differential, 4 shocks, B block, loose motor, rebuilt the front diff, re-shim front diff because I shim from the inside, so you gotta take it apart when you do it, which sucks, but it's better. Anyway, and yeah, I found a loose bolt in the back. Anyway, this one I just got to set the droop, put it back together, and done. But then I got 2 more diffs in my car, my stunt truck, my Notorious, and then 2 diffs in my wife's Notorious V6. Well, I at least have to check them both. I sure have to rebuild at least one per car. Then I got the GT. I got a line Nix 8S and it's 223. And yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna sleep for a while. Yeah, I'm definitely going to bed early tonight. God, I gotta work tomorrow. It's been a crazy freaking weekend. Plus, the F1 race was on this morning, so I was in front of the TV. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the video, but the hinge pin bracing idea works great. The hinge pin sleeving, except we're breaking blocks now instead of bending hinge pins, which is fine because it's more difficult to do. But what's the IBC issue? Because it had an issue last night. Explain. Elaborate. Unpack. Expand. Enter. God damn it. Home rolled cigarettes never want to stay lit. What's the IBC? Don't make me Google that shit. It's just gonna fuck up my viewing more. I mean, see how screwed up this camera angle is now? It's not even working right. It's all delayed and shit. Look. Yeah, because I had to use my phone because some a-hole didn't fucking follow through with his fucking promises. It just pisses me the fuck off. Alright, let me fuck this up real quick. Alright, so that's what you'd be looking at if you were using the stock camera on the fucking computer. Let me switch it back to my phone. Kind of re-bump it. Okay, I will read that in just a second, buddy. Fucking with this shit. I know it doesn't look like it to you because I've got different screens up. Oh, god damn it. My phone's probably going, is this thing safe to use? Fuck you. Okay. I'll just reopen it. Fucking eat a dick. Yes, camera work. Function, please. Okay. All right. Delayed. But that's more like the view we had. Still delayed like a mo though. It's too funny. It's very shit. Detect the voltage sag or something in IVC. Oh, voltage cut down. Right. Okay. And check the voltage of the battery and still have juice. Right. But they're adjustable, right? Or are they not on the 4S? They're on the 6s. There's an ant on my computer. I like to smash him. Dead ant. Dead ant? I know. Lame dad joke. Fuck you. That's Nick blowing off the cars. That's his contribution to when we go out. He blows the cars off. Hey, Nick, can you close the door? That's our Nick. Oh, that's what that other freaking screw is for. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, dude. No, there's all kinds of hilarious. Dude, you should have seen the shit that happened like the last 2 nights with me and Mike. I mean, I was just doing like a microphone test and just seeing if it worked, playing it back later, and Mike came on and we're. Oh my god, dude, shit got crazy. It got late too, though. God damn it, again. Nick! That was supposed to. Oh, Taylor, if I haven't told you yet, $9.99 at Walmart bicycle chain breaker will replace pins and drive shafts all day long. Perfect tool. Hey, can you close the door? Thanks. You're a fucking odd couple, I swear to God. At least we're entertaining. Your 223 ESC is adjustable. Nick, have you had any problems with your ESC on the 223 going into voltage cut?
No.
Okay. Just take it off of there. Put it somewhere else. Obviously, it's cooled off by now. I'm not worried about it burning anything. I don't want it to be in the wind. I don't want you fucking with it over and over again because eventually something will get broken. Talking about hanging my soldering iron up over there doing that. Yeah, see this video? Fucking, it's still laggy and fucked up, right? Dude had to fuck with me. He had to fucking be late, and I had to fucking use my phone to call him instead of using it for a video because my fucking house burned down. I don't have a second phone anymore. I swear, you know what? I'm probably gonna drop this fucking stream and then come back in like a half hour just to fucking give me some time to call everybody that's been texting me off the fucking charts and tell them to eat a dick. I'm kind of busy. I'm sorry, I don't know what's wrong with your car while you're in Lauderdale and it's making a grinding sound like crystal balls in the goddamn shop. Oh yeah, this wasn't tapped out for the big screw yet. Fuck. All right. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. All right, I gotta retap the bumper too now. Fuck. You know, one thing after another, man. If it can't go wrong, it will go wrong. That's my fucking life. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do that real quick. So I'm gonna listen to that kid's voice when he tells me why the fuck he's not here yet. I mean, I brought a fucking table in. Nick knocked my drink over while he's putting the table up. You know, all this preparation for fucking what? I'll see you guys in 30 minutes. Peace. And chicken grease. And if it smells funny, don't eat it. Especially if it's poontang. All right, so I